Hi everyone, I'm Adele Siegel, and in this episode I'm going to be showing you how to do a pedicure at home, but with a little bit of a twist. I've also taken out the hassle of sourcing all the products that we will be needing by building a beauty box for you if you need. So stay tuned and let me demonstrate to you how to do a pedicure at home. We're talking doing pedicures at home. Now, by definition, a pedicure is a cosmetic treatment for the feet and the toenails. Now, it can be way more than just a cosmetic treatment. If you're doing this treatment in acts of service for somebody else, it can actually be very therapeutic as well and a blessing to others. So let me show you what we need for today's video and doing pedicures at home. Now, this is where the trick comes in, or the twist comes in. This is a Black & Decker mouse sander. Usually a power tool that you'll find in a hardware store, but we're going to be using it in the salon today to do a pedicure at home. So this is the Black & Decker mouse sander to file down the rough feet, or the rough skin. We're going to be using a 180 grit file because we don't want to take off the entire foot sole or sole of the foot. If you don't have a power tool and you don't want to use a power tool, it's very ticklish, but it doesn't hurt at all. We also have the usual foot files. We've got a foot bowl, or you can use a soaking foot bath if you have one at home. We've got slippers, and if you want to paint the toenails, there is disposable slippers as well, but with toe separators. So it's just like a 2-in-1. We've got exfoliating sugar scrub, and this is a moisture locking cream and paraffin wax in one. So this is the Mender pump with acetone that we're going to be using to remove nail varnish. We've got powder. This is absolutely optional if you want to apply it afterwards and not to slip in your shoes. Fungicide, this is when you suspect there's a fungi on the toenail or underneath the toenail. It is usually indicated by a blue or green tinge, but it can also be excessive hardening underneath the toenail. So this is also optional and in case you need it, but you can also use treatments like Lamisil, Sporanox, or just normal tea tree oil as well. We've got both brown cotton wool and lint-free wipes. You're going to be using lint-free. After massaging the feet, you want to take off the glossy or the fatty layer of the cream before you're applying nail varnish. So then you're going to be using the lint-free nail wipes because you don't want to be leaving fluff on the nail before you apply nail varnish. This one is a first and a last top coat, so you don't need a base coat and a top coat if you are going to be applying nail varnish as well. Normal cuticle oil, we've got the Miracle buffing block, white buffing block, zebra nail file and normal nail file, 100 and 180 grit. And a friend of mine showed me a trick how to soften the edges of a nail file. You just use the two files to file the other one's side as well. So we've got a cuticle pusher as well, a slanted nail clipper, large nail clipper. We've got two tongue depressors. This is just to decant your product. We've got little hoop sticks as well. So we're going to be using this. And, oh, of course the towels. So let me show you. Just put that aside. We've got two face cloths that we're going to be using to remove the exfoliating salt or sugar scrub. And then two dark color towels. The one we're going to be applying at the bottom of the bed, couch, or wherever you want to do the pedicure. You're going to be applying it with a little bit hanging off the end. This is just to be able to fold it after the exfoliating salt scrub. And then another large towel that you're going to be rolling to put underneath the feet, just to lift them a little bit so you can file underneath. Now I'm going to be calling my client or my model, my husband, for his pedicure. So now that I've got my model or my client in front of me, I would like to explain to you how to do a pedicure at home. Everyone has a different way of doing a pedicure or a different routine. Now I prefer to soak the feet after I filed them. Some people soak them before to make the skin softer. I prefer to file on dry skin. It just feels to me like I'm removing more of the rough skin. So I'm going to prepare the toenails first. If the toenails are very hard, you can soak them first just to soften them a little bit before you cut them. Otherwise, instead of cutting hard toenails, you can also file them. So first of all, I'm going to be preparing the toenails, filing the feet, and then using my pedi bowl or your foot bath bowl to soak the feet and just remove some of the product. So I'm going to start off by preparing the toenails. Would you please bend your knees for me? It's just easier for me to work on the toes when it's flat, and then you can see what you're doing as well. So I'm going to be pushing back the cuticles with my cuticle pusher, or you can use your orange wood stick, the slanted flat side. You can push back the cuticles. This one's just easier for me. Push back the cuticles on both sides. I'm going to show you this side and then I'll repeat everything on the other side as well. So I'm going to gently push back the cuticles. You'll see I haven't done this in a while. So I've got an option between the nail file and nail clippers. So I'm going to be clipping his toenails first of all. Right in there. Cut them or clip them as straight as possible. If you clip the sides, you might cause ingrown toenails. This is a little bit hard, so I can be soaking his toenails, or then clip the toenails after I soak them, after I file the feet. There's no correct procedure, it's just what works for you. Now I can file them straight, from left to right. I always start on the big toe, then I can see where I'm going. Just file the end of each toenail. And last but not least, baby toe. Next up, I can buff the surface of the nail or the top of the nail, and also remove the excess of the cuticle that grew onto the nail bed. So buffing the toenail will also just get rid of all those irregularities and uneven surface on top of the nail. It's a very soft nail buff. You can see it doesn't hurt at all. So it's not that I'm taking off layers and layers of nail, of keratin. Just gently removing all the ridges on the top of the nail. Because I'm not going to paint the toenails this time around, I'm sure Stephen's going to be very upset about me not painting his toenails red afterwards, but because I'm not going to be painting his toenails, I'm going to use the Miracle buffing block to shine his toenails. So first of all, you're going to use the green side. It's just got a little fine grit of nail file as well, just to take that little bit of extra ridges off, the ones that are left behind after buffing them. And then you've got your white shiner to end it off with. Luckily, my client has got very straight toes. That does help. I did ballet for 14 years and I'm not that lucky. So this just gives a nice shine, healthy look to the toenail, because we're not going to be applying nail varnish. I prefer not to do this step if you are applying nail varnish, because the varnish just adheres if the surface of the nail isn't as shiny as this one. It just adheres better when it's just a little bit buffed. So that's the preparation on the one foot or the one side, and then I'm going to be repeating this step on the other side. I've finished prepping both feet, and now we're going to go to the fun part, filing the feet. Okay, straighten your legs. This is where we're going to need the towel. Just roll the towel firmly to make a little sausage. Put your legs and put it underneath the feet. It just gives you a little bit of space underneath the foot to work with. Now there's two options, the normal foot file that you can be using, and then of course the power tool, the sander, my favorite. So I'll first show you with the normal foot file how to file the feet. So we're going to be working from the bottom, lift it a little bit with this hand. The client or whoever's feet you're doing can just relax while you do all the work. As you're filing, you'll see all the white dead skin cells coming off. Now this is not as prominent if you soak the feet first. So I use the pressure with this hand to push this foot backwards just to get right in there. So that's just to show you the bottom of the foot. Now it can be ticklish, especially with the sander at this part, the ball of the foot. So if you apply a lot of pressure on this side, it's not as ticklish as if you just lightly touch the foot. So push it back and apply pressure, and then you can work from there. Also the toes. You can see all the dust particles. So what you can also do during filing is apply a face mask. So let me show you how to use the sander or the mouse. So this is the Black & Decker mouse, but you can also use these different makes of these little sanders. I just find this one makes the least noise, and it's obviously light and easy to handle. You also get the different grits or files. You'll see the indication at the back about the grits. Now you will usually use the 180, 150 and at least 120 grit file. Don't go below to the 80s and the 50s, that's too rough for the feet. So just for safety, we're going to be using the 180 file. Just stick it on there. And now I'm going to be filing or sanding the soles of the feet. Makes a little bit of a noise. Also remember your mask for the dust particles. This just speeds up the process and makes it so much easier. You can use alcohol or disinfectant, spray down and just wipe it because it's going to be solely for your own use at home. also making certain that you've removed all the dead skin cells and the skin is nice and smooth underneath the soles of the feet. We can now exfoliate. So I'm going to use a tongue depressor. You can also use a spoon. I just don't want to cross-infect the jar by putting it in my hands all the time. So you're going to use a fair amount of product. I also like to use it dry. It just slops off that skin cells or the dead skin cells. It's also a very nice feeling. If you see your client's legs or your own legs are very dry, you can also run the exfoliator up the legs. Same on the other side. And this is why we use a dark towel underneath the feet. You can apply a fair amount of pressure when you do this. So I've got my bowl ready. I've had about 2 squirts of hand wash inside as well. And this is cold water, because now I'm going to be adding from Old Faithful flask over here my hot water. Be careful, test the water first to make sure that it's not boiling hot. You don't want to burn your client. So it's a nice temperature. I'm going to use your face cloth, your small facial towel. See, and you're just going to wrap one foot in there. You can also use your foot spa and leave the feet in there for a few moments. Just want to remove, that's what's nice about the exfoliating salt scrub or sugar scrub, is the particles dissolve. When you've got a kernel, like a sweet almond kernel, it doesn't always dissolve as nicely as the salt and the sugar scrub does. It's nothing worse than massage words and you can feel all the granules underneath. Just to make sure that we've removed all the scrub from the feet and the legs. You can see the steam from the nice hot compress. It's just soothing if you have a little bit of warm water as well. How's it feeling? Got no correspondence from my client yet. Thumbs up. I'm going to be folding this towel. Put your legs a little bit, so I don't get the granules stuck in there after I remove them. So, I think this will be the last time that we do this. And underneath and in between the toes, making sure all the product is removed and dissolved. And I can now take a dry cloth and just wipe down the water with the excess wet skin. After making sure all the product is removed, you can now be applying your moisture locking cream. Now this is a paraffin wax mixed in a cream, but you can just apply normal cream as well. It's nice if it's a nice thick cream that's got a little bit of a slip that you can massage with. We use a lot of product because now we've got hairy male legs that never applies cream, so it's very dry. Some men hate the feel of cream on their hands. Some men. And then you can either, in this towel that you've just used to wipe down the extra moisture. Cover the one foot while you're going to be massaging the other. And then once you've done that side, you're now going to be massaging this side. Always apply pressure upwards and relax the pressure downwards. So we're going to apply pressure towards the heart centrifugally and relax the pressure centripetally. The other side by the calf muscle, always go over the knee. It's got a very soothing sensation. Apply pressure also underneath the foot, on the balls of the feet. Work nice and firm. Slow movements are very relaxing, and fast, vigorous movements is like refreshing. Get underneath and in between the toes, underneath and at the top. Now this is for lymph drainage. Apply a little bit of pressure and like pull it out. Always remain contact with one or both hands. And then massage every individual toe as well. Also massage around the ankle bones, both sides, and then the heel as well. If your fingers aren't strong or your hands get tired, remember these are magic, so you can use your knuckles as well. So you just make circular movements with your knuckles underneath the foot on the balls of the feet. And upward stroking motion, like that, on the balls of the feet, over and under. Now this can carry on as long as you're able to, or as long as you want to. Finish off upwards on the leg, downwards, other hand upwards, downwards, and cup a hand at the top and underneath the foot. Now that massaging is done on both legs, just finish off the sequence with both legs simultaneously. Pressure at the end and release slowly. Now if you're going to be painting the toenails, you can remove this oily layer with a lint-free wipe, and then you're going to apply a base coat, 2 layers of color, and a top coat. And sorry, we are not going to paint the toenails today, so we don't need the slippers with the toenail separators in between. If you do want to, just a nice tip, you don't have toe separators at home, you take a tissue, fold it in half again, and just maybe I should show this toe, just weave it through the toes, and you've got separated toes to be able to paint them nicely. So men don't love cream as much as we do, so you can take the extra cream off and apply a little bit of powder at the bottom should you wish. These feet were very dry, so I prefer to leave as much moisture on them as possible. So now we're going to be putting on these slippers. Tight squeeze. My client had his first pedicure in a while. Now that I made my client disappear like that, I'd like to remind you that coming Sunday, 21st of June, is Father's Day in South Africa. We did pedicures at home, so there's an idea for you. I'm also assembling these beauty boxes if you are interested. And please like, share, comment down below, ask me questions if you want. And I will be doing my 5 favorite products for winter next, and then a makeup video as you all have been asking me for it. Thank you for watching. I'm Adele Siegel, bringing beauty to you.